Hi agents, let's talk agency today. More importantly, because I think many agents struggle with how to explain agency. And sadly, many agents do not explain agency at all, which is really not serving your client. And if you'll take some time to explain agency, you might strengthen a relationship with the client for having the conversation. Technically, upon first meeting with any client and any substantial conversation, you are required to talk about agency. It is still sad that in this industry, many people do not. So hopefully I can give you a little easier way to discuss it with a client, and maybe you can strengthen your relationship. The first one is the listing agent. Of course, I always like to say that's a name on the sign in the front yard, and they have a listing agreement that spells out fiduciary interest and confidentiality. They represent that seller. That relationship is put together by the listing agreement. That means I'm in a relationship with you, I represent you. Then there is sub-agency, which new people don't remember when there was sub-agency, so you get a little confused. But sub-agency is simply any agent that does not work for the companies that's got the sign in the front yard. They do not have a buyer's agreement or any representation with their buyer, and they go show a property. Technically, they're a sub-agent, and that means they represent the seller through the listing agent. They do not represent the buyer. Now, we don't see that much very often anymore. However, if you're not having discussions with your buyer and having a discussion about being a buyer's agent, how many times have you actually been a sub-agent and not even known it? So the third one is buyer's agency. And under buyer's agency, that is where you represent the buyer. You're bound by a buyer's agreement, just like you are with a seller with a listing agreement that spells out fiduciary interest and confidentiality. It is the tool that allows you to say, I am representing the buyer, and it goes over all the other terms and so forth. Now, under buyer's agency, when you go show a property, it means that you, of course, represent the buyer, and you can share anything that helps them that they need to know about that house. Very important to have those agreements in place. And unfortunately, again, many agents don't take the time to do them, because that is how you establish that you are truly representing them. The last one is intermediary. Intermediary, a lot of people get confused on because there's two parts to it. So ultimately, intermediary is where both agents are underneath the same brokerage. So like for me, I'm M. Stegers Realty Partners. So I have Agent A that works for M. Stegers Realty Partners, and I have Agent B that works for M. Stegers Realty Partners. I always like to use an umbrella for that picture. Now, when you represent a party inside the brokerage in intermediary, if you have an agent over here, A, who is different than an agent over here, B, so two separate people, then you can appoint in an intermediary status. When can you not appoint? You cannot appoint someone if Agent A is the same person. So then what does that mean? And this is where most people do not know how to explain it. It means you have to mediate. You can share no information with either party in the transaction that is not shared with all parties. Mediation means fair on this side, same information, both parties. So it's very important to understand that. And then lastly, also to explain, because there are many small brokers out there, that when you are the broker and the listing agent, it will be intermediary without appointment. And let's bring that umbrella back. We have Agent A over here, and we have a representing the buyer and we have you, the broker, in the middle of that umbrella, you cannot get across the umbrella to the other agent, which means it will be without appointment. It's by mediation again. So hopefully that explains a little bit about agency. Hopefully that makes it a little easier to talk to someone about, and I didn't confuse you. If we can ever answer any questions, please let us know. I'm Missy Stakers, broker owner of M. Stakers Realty Partners, and we're always here to help. Please feel free to reach out.